48 teams step onto the biggest stage in football. 104 matches across 39 days, 3 host countries, an expanded format that nobody has seen before. And at the end of it all, only one name will be engraved on the trophy. Every 4 years, this tournament produces stories nobody could have written in advance. Teams that were supposed to win, teams that don't. Teams nobody was watching go all the way to the final. That's what makes it the World Cup. So before a single ball is kicked, here's a full breakdown of every team that genuinely matters at this tournament, what they have, what makes them dangerous, and where the cracks are.
We start with France, because when you look at this squad from position 1 to position 26, it is genuinely difficult to find a weakness. 2 World Cup titles, 1998 and 2018, a final in 2022 that they were winning, lost, forced to extra time, and still nearly completed a comeback that would have been the greatest in World Cup final history. Mbappe scored a hat-trick in a losing final. Think about that. He scored 3 goals in a World Cup final and still went home without the trophy. He is 27 now. This is his tournament. The experience of reaching the 2022 final has forged a winning culture inside this squad that very few teams at this tournament can match. The depth is the thing that separates France from almost everyone else. An injury to one key player doesn't reshape this team. It creates an opportunity for someone else to step forward. Dembélé, Olise, Tchouaméni, Konaté, Camavinga. These are not backup options. These are players who start for the biggest clubs in Europe. Everything runs through Mbappe. When he is quiet, France can be quiet too. But France don't need to be the most exciting team in this tournament. They just need to be standing at the end.
Spain. Spain is the reigning European champions. 10 wins from 10 in qualifying, 36 goals scored, 4 conceded across the entire qualification campaign. Spain's strength lies in ball control, high pressing, and an elite midfield, where Rodri, Pedri, Fabian Ruiz, and Marino give the coach an abundance of options. They can keep opponents without the ball for long stretches, and then suddenly accelerate through the flanks without warning. Lamine Yamal is 18 years old. He was 16 when Spain won the Euros. He has already played on the biggest stages in club and international football and responded to every one of them. Everything hinges on his fitness. He missed the end of the Barcelona season with a muscular problem expected to limit his group stage involvement. That is the one cloud over this Spain camp right now. Spain do have a structural vulnerability. They carry no traditional world-class striker. On a bad night against a low defensive block, that absence can dull the attack significantly. Here is the thing though, Spain have failed to progress beyond the last 16 in the World Cup since their only triumph in 2010. They were knocked out in the group stage in 2014, then back-to-back round of 16 exits in 2018 and 2022. This squad is younger, faster, and more direct than any Spanish team since that golden generation. The European Championship proved they could win under pressure. The World Cup is the final test of whether this is a dynasty or just a very good cycle.
Brazil. Brazil had 5 World Cup titles. The last one was 2002, 24 years ago. For a country where football is not just a sport, but a national identity built over generations, that drought is not a statistic. It is a wound. Carlo Ancelotti, the most decorated club manager in European football history, now leads this team. He has given Brazil defensive discipline without sacrificing the attacking identity, something that was missing for years. Previous Brazilian squads under different coaches played with flair but without structure. They were brilliant going forward and exposed going back. Vinicius Jr. is the center of everything. At 25, he is widely considered one of the most dangerous attackers in world football on his best days. Behind him, Brazil have Rafinha, Endrick, the 19-year-old who had a strong loan spell at Lyon, Matheus Cunha, and Rodrigo. The attacking depth is frightening. The concern nobody in Brazil wants to say out loud is, the 7-1 in 2014 on home soil never fully leaves the national consciousness. The weight of hosting a tournament and the psychological collapse that followed, that scar exists. Ancelotti believes this team is different. Brazil believe it too. Whether the belief holds when the knockout pressure arrives is the question that only the tournament can answer. Argentina. Qatar 2022. The greatest World Cup final ever played. Argentina won on penalties. Messi lifted the trophy. The image that an entire generation of football fans will carry forever.
Argentina enter 2026 as defending champions, with genuine ambition to repeat, something no team has achieved since Brazil in 1958 and 1962. Their strength lies in a solid foundation built on winning culture, the World Cup 4 years ago, plus back-to-back Copa America titles. Julian Alvarez is 24 years old and one of the best strikers in Europe. The midfield remains world-class. Scaloni has now won 3 major tournaments as a manager. He knows exactly how to protect this group and extract maximum output from them. The vulnerability is in depth. Beyond the established starting 11, the rest of the squad carries more unknowns than certainties, particularly at fullback, where options are limited, and in attack, where several promising forwards have yet to prove themselves at this level.
And then there is Messi, 38 years old, still the reference point for everything Argentina does. Still a presence on the pitch that gives the entire squad a level of confidence no coaching setup can manufacture. Less explosive than he was in Qatar, but the connection between Messi and this group of players is not tactical. It is something deeper, and it makes Argentina dangerous in ways that the statistics don't fully capture. Nobody has defended the World Cup since Brazil 1962. History is against them. Argentina would not be surprised if they proved history wrong again. Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo is 41. This is his 6th World Cup, something no outfield player in the history of the game has ever done. He has never won it. Portugal have never won it. But here's what makes Portugal in 2026 genuinely fascinating. This squad might be the most talented Portugal have ever assembled, and that is true even before Ronaldo's name is mentioned. Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, Bernardo Silva, Ruben Diaz. Portugal possess incredible technical quality in central areas and fullbacks who operate as elite secondary attackers. They won the Nations League in 2025, beating Germany in the semifinals and Spain in the final. That is not a soft tournament. That is proof the squad can perform when it matters. The challenge is finding equilibrium under real knockout pressure and managing the high-profile squad dynamics that come with a group of this size and ego. Portugal have a quarter-final ceiling that has held across multiple tournaments and multiple generations of excellent players. Every time they arrive at a World Cup with genuine expectations, something in the knockout rounds breaks down.
This is Ronaldo's last chance. And paradoxically, this squad may actually be better equipped to go deep if the system is organized around what it currently has, rather than accommodating the legacy of what he once was. That is the tension at the heart of this Portugal camp, and how they resolve it will define how far they go. Now here comes the dark horses. 3 teams the conversation keeps skipping over, but any one of them could change everything. 1. Morocco. At some point, calling Morocco a dark horse stops making sense. They reached the World Cup semifinals in Qatar. They beat Spain. They beat Portugal. They did it with a structure so disciplined and a defensive shape so organized that elite coaches spend days trying to break it.
Then their manager Walid Regragui walked out in March. His replacement, Mohamed Wadbi, was a former U23 coach that most people had never heard of months ago. On paper, that should be alarming. In practice, the system is so deeply embedded in the squad that the identity doesn't live in the dugout. It lives in the players themselves. Achraf Hakimi knows his role. Youssef En-Nesyri knows his role. This group has been through a World Cup semifinal together. A coaching change doesn't erase that muscle memory. They kept a tournament-best 5 clean sheets at the most recent AFCON and scored 4 goals from set pieces alone. They opened Group C against Brazil. If they get a result there, the entire bracket shifts. 2. Norway. Norway are back at the World Cup for the first time in 28 years. They arrived by dominating a qualifying group that included Italy, going through the entire process undefeated. They stormed through qualifying and now have a supporting cast finally worthy of Erling Haaland, a player who, on his best day, is capable of single-handedly deciding a match against anyone in this tournament. No tournament baggage, no history of underperforming at this level to carry. Just a squad that genuinely believes they can beat any team they face because they have the player who makes that believable. 3. Japan. Japan is probably the most complete dark horse at this tournament. They have elite club players across Europe's top leagues, a clear tactical identity that is extremely difficult to disrupt, and a recent pedigree that demands respect. Beating Germany and Spain in the same World Cup group stage was not a fluke. The pressing system Hajime Moriyasu has built is among the most disciplined in international football. The pressing traps are overwhelming, the transitions rapid, and the shape nearly impossible to disorganize. Their squad is deeper now than it was in 2022. More players, more experience, more belief. 5 major contenders, 3 teams ready to cause chaos, and 104 matches to sort it all out.
The one thing every single one of these teams has to answer is the question that no preparation can fully prepare you for. When it matters most, under the weight of everything, a nation, a history, a generation of players that will never all be here again, who handles it? Football has never been particularly interested in what looks best on paper. That's exactly why we watch. Which team are you backing? Drop it in the comments. And if you want to understand every rule change, every structural shift, and exactly how this expanded tournament works before it begins, the full breakdown is right here. Watch that first, then come back and tell me if your answer changes.